What is good, everyone? Welcome to the Sneaker History Podcast. My name is Nick Engvall, and before we get into today's episode, I'm going to ask a small favor from all of you. We've uploaded over 350 episodes of the show, and we're slowly creeping up on 600,000 downloads. I honestly can't even wrap my head around it. That is insane. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of this journey with us. If you could take a moment to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, hit that follow button on Spotify, and give us a rating, it would be greatly appreciated. I'm looking forward to taking the show to new levels in the coming months with more guests from the community, talks with industry professionals, and deeper dives into the sneaker stories that shape this obsession we are all so passionate about. And your support is going to make that happen, so thank you in advance. One last thing before we get into this episode, do the right thing. Tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a compliment will take you, and we all know how good it feels to be on the receiving end of some appreciation.
Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, what a move!
LeBron James with no regard for human life. Final seconds. Bryant for the win. Iverson against Gill. The crowd on its feet. Allen for the win.
Welcome to the Sneaker History Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Sneaker History Podcast. And of course, you are back with my Coffee Time Kick segment. And I had to bring in the sneaker teacher, one of probably the freshest teachers on earth, because you know what? I wish if I was a teacher, I could dress like him. And probably one of the most known and most seen sneaker photographers on Instagram. I know he does some great work with brands. So had to bring in Mr. Andy Dutton, a.k.a. AD Sneaks. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? Mike, thanks for having me on. Good to hop on and chop it up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'd love to have you on. I mean, I've been following you for a while. I love your work, man. You do some great stuff. I'm always just a fan of photography as a whole, sneaker or not, and your work is creative. Your work is not biting off anybody else's. So I before we get started, I kind of want to give you your flowers on that, man, because
thank you.
You do great stuff, man. I appreciate the hard work you put in that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's just fun, and I've been really enjoying it. So,
yeah, man. No, I love seeing the passion in it, because it's not just like, hey, I'm doing this. Can you send me something free? It's like, hey, I'm doing this, and hey, the outcome is the outcome, but you can tell you have enjoyment in what you do. So that's super cool, man. And guys, Coffee Time Kicks. We're just here to just talk about sneakers, talk about life, all that good stuff in between. So, as we know in sneaker history, we like to get started with rocking and copping. So, guess, Andy, what you got, what you rocking, what you think about copping?
So rocking today, I just put them away, or I'd have them like right here to show. But I had so I wore the reimagined white cement Jordan 3s today. Just, man, such a beautiful pair. I know people are getting sick of the aged midsole look, but I feel like on those it was just like executed so well that it wasn't like overdone and it wasn't underdone. So it's just like in that nice middle ground where they look really good.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't like someone threw them in mud and picked them up and was like, here, brown midsole. I like that. No, they did that one really well. I don't hate the aged finish because I don't like all the time like a stark white shoe.
Right.
So the cream is nice, and I think for the way I dress, the colors I wear, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no, I think it works, and like you said, it doesn't look like some of those ones we've seen where it's like you rub a little bit of dirt on it and it's like, oh, I got to get this really, really aged,
Exactly.
So they did good. I just wish the elephant print was a little bit better, but hey, at least I got the shoe. I'm happy about that.
Take the wins with the losses. All right, cool.
Thanks.
So, what you think about copping? Is there anything on your list of things you want to add to the collection?
Oh man, I have this guilty pleasure of nightly before going to bed, I'm scrolling through my phone. Probably not the best habit in the world, but I'm always looking on eBay for like just steals, man.
Yeah.
Just like random little things. And so I found like what led me to this one, and I copped them, so we'll just say that. Jordan 17s, the Lightnings and the UNCs have come out, and they've been met with mixed reviews for the price and like accessibility and stuff. So I was like, man, do I really want those? I don't know. So I was looking back through, and I always looking for like obscure Jordans. I don't know what it is about like obscure pairs, but I always just want like ones that people just like either forgot about or like didn't really like pay much attention to. So I found a DS pair of the 18s. So the
Oh,
ones that have
yeah.
like the little magnetic thing that like goes down like
Yeah.
that. That's a shoe I wanted when I was in high school and was never able to grab it. So I think they re-released those in 2018, the white with and blue, and then the black and blue pair. And
Yeah.
so
Yep.
I found a deal on eBay, put in a low offer, guy accepted. So that's what we're copping next is a 2018 pair of Jordan 18s.
That was one of the ones I wish I would have bought because I missed out on the OG colors when they came out. Those
Yeah.
pretty much sold when they released. But I remember they had it was all blue, like a royal blue suede. There was a yellow and an orange one. It was like a pack.
Yeah.
They sat around. They went on sale, but they were still kind of expensive. They sat
Yep.
around for months. I was like, why didn't I just grab a pair of those and just hold on to it? Because I like the 18. Like, I love the 17. 16 is probably my favorite of the post, or the 16 is my favorite of post 14s. But there's just something about those, man. They're different. They're cool looking. So I love the purchase. Good on you.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, like the design language of some of those ones that like were like on the tail end. I know Mike played in like the 17s and stuff when he was with the Wizards, and then even the 18s for a little bit too. But it's just something about that design language after he was wrapped up his career nicely with the Chicago Bulls, and then it just felt like things like shifted. But I love where they shifted with the 16, 17, 18. Like those were like that was a good set.
Yeah, dude, I completely agree. And if they would, I would love for them to go ahead and retro the 16. But now I'm scared that they're going to be like $1 million because of what we got with the 17 low, which is so weird to me. Like, I can't remember. Someone was explaining it, and I cannot remember. It might have been Chris from Wear Testers, one of his videos, I think. And I guess they had to rebuild like the tooling and everything for it, so that's why it's expensive. So, I mean, okay, I get the first run, maybe even the second run, but now we should start pumping these out in regular cardboard boxes. Let us get pairs like normal people and call it a day.
Like that briefcase isn't $100 extra. I'm telling you, like it's not that nice.
I got no room for that anyway. Like, in fact, I will let you
Right.
keep the briefcase. Just send it to me in a box.
Just
I'm
send me the
fine with
shoes.
it.
I just want a cardboard box.
Yeah, $200. I got you. Keep the metal case. I don't need it. But no, those are solid rocking, solid copping. Me, I didn't really go anywhere today but the gym, so I was rocking my Puma Deviate Nitro 3. Solid running shoes. I mean, the first one I ran my first ever half marathon in, and so I kind of been stuck in this
dope.
shoe. Oh, dude, they make such a good running shoe. Because people think of Pumas like casual, of course, all of the driving shoes,
Right.
but their performance running, I guess this would be considered one of their close to super shoes. You should definitely try them out if you're into running. They're solid and they're better priced than what you're getting a lot of other places.
Yeah, I've always been like a Hoka guy, and so like the only gripe I have with Hokas is they wear out so fast. Like the like rubber on the bottom, it's like cooked after a while. So no, Puma, I'll be looking.
Yeah, definitely try them out, man. They're really good. They're not. Hoka definitely has the corner of the market on comfort. Like you can't beat that. But for pure performance, the Deviate Nitro series is absolutely amazing.
Noted. I will be looking. That might be my next eBay search tonight. So.
They stroll away. Oh man, but copping. So talking about old school basketball, a shoe I've actually never owned in all my sneaker hoarding years.
Yeah.
I've never owned the Foamposite one, and I want the Royal Foam is sitting around in some places. I'm trying to justify $240. I'm trying to also wait to see if I can find one that's a little cheaper, but I'm looking at, let's see, Hibbett Sports right now has my size sitting around. Packer has my size. I'm like, oh, there's two right there. It's that price is very gut-wrenching to me.
That 240, like, so kind of for me too. Like, I've never owned a pair of foams, and I've always kind of wanted a pair. And so when that Royal pair coming out, I'm the same way, man. So I've been looking. It's like today's sneaker market. It's like, oh, should I wait for it to go on sale? But if I wait for it to go on sale, is my size going to still be there? Like all these what ifs now.
It's a tough game because eggplants. I was like, oh, no one's gonna buy those. There's no way. My brother bought a pair of sneakers when they came. I was like, oh, I'll wait. I went to freaking sneakers at like $300. Or not sneakers, a goat, and they're like $300. I'm like, okay, I failed. Not buying those. The Orwood pair, like that light cream brown color came out, it's like $160. I'm good. I'm like, what? It's just because it's brown, I guess. But I mean, it's okay. It's not a bad colorway, but I kind of don't want to settle and get that one, knowing that I want one of the OGs, or I wanted was it cherry blossom color? That was
those ones were beautiful.
Oh my god, it's so nice, but sold out immediately. I think you can only get them at what Foot Lockers mostly in store look like.
Yeah,
And,
that's what.
$600 right now, I think. No, thank you.
Yeah, not worth it. Nope.
Not even close. But man, how you feel about kind of these releases right now? I feel like we're kind of hit a bit of a lull to say. Nothing really.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think this week, I mean, we got the J Tips Saucony collab coming out, which beautiful. I have both the pairs already, and they are. I mean, I've been a fan of what he's been doing since he came into the sneaker space. I feel like his initial collaboration with the Azure Grid 2000, like that kind of created waves for some of these other brands to be like, okay, like everyone paid attention to that, and then J Tips does his second one, and then J Tips does his third one, and then it's like, okay, now we're seeing more with Saucony, we're seeing more with Asics. I mean, New Balance has kind of been there, in my opinion, but we're seeing, Asics and Saucony come up with some of these stellar collabs, and in my opinion, they've had some of the better pairs this year so far.
Oh, 1,000,000%. So I got right now. First of all, shout out to the homies over at Saucony because my tracking number says they'll be here Thursday. I'm like, I cannot wait to put those on. I am so excited. Like, I've been a huge Saucony fan. I remember when they had that era like in let's say 2011 through like 2013 when they were all those old school runners like those. Early 90s, late 80s runners got really popular, and that's when, Saucony, the Shadow series, Asics Gel Light 3s, 5s got super popular for a span of time. But I love this resurgence. I love what they're doing because they never have stopped producing a great product, no matter if they're up there in the limelight all the time or they took a little bit of a back seat. They've been pumping out amazing shoes that aren't just collaborations. What J Tips is doing is proving that you don't have to be this crazy huge corporation or crazy huge megastar to produce something that people want, and I love that because me and Nick were talking the last episode me and him did, and I mean I guess it'd be a hot take for people out there who are like really true to some of these bigger brands, but I feel like J Tips and Saucony have become a dynamic duo, like you would say Travis and Jordan or Ronnie Fike and Asics. Those two are synonymous now. When they do something, people are paying attention. His things have a story to it. His things have his feeling into each of these shoes. They're not just, let's slap the same color over and over. They're bright, they're energetic, but they also have a version that's a little bit toned down. He gives you options, and I love that.
Yeah, no, and I'm a fan of him. I've talked to people who interacted with him, who've met him. Just he's down to earth, just good dude, and and that comes across in the way that he carries himself and markets his sneakers. And just the sneakers themselves. I think I read something today. It's he said I wouldn't put out a sneaker if I wasn't going to wear that sneaker, And so he's not in it for the the clout or the recognition. He just wants to tell his story. He wants to design how he wants to design. And I think because he's so genuine, it just resonates with people, and we're able to buy into what he's doing. And I mean, I'm here for it. I've loved all of his pairs that he's done so far, and these ones, these Omni 9s, he keeps elevating. I think this is in my opinion, I think these are the best ones that he's done so far. They're just so good. All the little tiny details on them. I need to make a video of it. But yeah, it's just, they're so good, man. They're so good.
Yeah. And the thing is they're both good. Sometimes you have a collaboration pack. It's one's good, other one, not so good. And even the Kid Shadow 6000, or I should say GS size, because I know some of those are maybe women's sizes, but they're all good in their own right. I mean, I saw somebody who got their pair from the New York release, the tan pair. They cut the overlays off of that clear overlay.
I thought about that. I want to see that because it's there. You can see it. Yeah,
someone did it, and he even reposted it. I love that he's in touch with his customer base, his community, because when people will post them, I posted my on feed of the shoes. He'll repost you, and it's really cool. I mean, that, in a grand scheme of things, it's nothing. But in the sense of he's paying attention, it's like you bought a shoe, or you showing him love on the site or whatever you're posting on. He's showing you love back. He's reciprocating that to say, "Hey, I see you, I appreciate you." And I love that because if I did that in a pair of Travis's, that's not.
You're not expecting anything. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way.
Exactly. And I know there's a big difference in probably fan base and size, which is understandable.
For sure.
but in the sense of like he's still taking his time, being in one of the biggest markets in New York, and just he's not become like super cocky. He's trying to be the best. Clearly, you can tell, but he's not forgot about, hey, it takes these people actually liking what I do to put me in this position. So I respect that.
For sure. Yeah, he's just, I mean, he stays true to his roots and he's killing it. So hats off to you, J-Tips. Like, keep doing your thing.
Okay, second that. Now, I got to ask you, Andy, like, I have friends who are teachers, and I have family members who are teachers. And my question, when I started following you, was like, how in the world does he get to do this? How do you get to go to school so fresh? Like, everybody I know has to wear khakis, and maybe they get away with the New Balance here or there. They gotta pay for their jeans on Fridays. There's some. Well, how does Andy get to go to work so fly?
I've heard all those teachers like, man, I have to pay for like Jean Fridays, like casual Fridays, and all that stuff. And, I think it's because I'm in public school, so there's probably not as much of a strict dress code. Our students don't really have you'll see some of these like charter schools or private schools where the kids have to wear like, a certain color, like dress collared shirt or like dress or anything like that. And so our school, public school, so there's that. And then my admin, super supportive of what I do in the classroom. And so just as long as I'm helping my kids and helping them reach their goals and all of that stuff, then like if I'm doing my thing, they let me do my thing. So really grateful for my supportive admin. And, I found over the years too, and I've said this before a few times, that when I first started getting into teaching, it was, I would wear the shirt and the tie and do all of that stuff. And, that was my vibe. But the classes that I was teaching at the time, I was teaching like wood shop classes. And so we were constantly going from like classroom to wood shop. And here I am wearing a shirt and a tie doing that. I'm like, this isn't working. Like, I don't want to get like my necktie, like, stuck in a machine or anything like that. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I probably shouldn't. So then I ditched the tie. I was still wearing collared shirts and like slacks. And I'm like, man, but this ain't me. Like, I don't dress like this. Like, I understand like workplace, professional, and like, your own life, you kind of got to separate the two. But I was just like, I'm going to just start wearing sneakers at school. So I'd wear the get up with my sneakers, and then just gradually started transitioning to like what I like to wear and how I wear it. And I feel like doing that has really resonated with the kids, because they can see like, oh, Mr. Dutton, that's who he is. Like that's always who he is. And so he's not this like teacher version of himself or this, other version of himself outside the classroom. Yeah. So being able to be myself, like kids, I think connect with that and are able to buy into what I'm trying to teach and do in the classroom a little bit better that way. So sorry, that's kind of a long-winded answer.
No, but it makes perfect sense. Like I agree with that 100%, because I mean, me personally, I'm not a shirt and tie person. I think I did it for so long when I first got out of college. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's just uncomfortable for me. I feel like I'm just stiff. Yeah. And then I work in a whole different like field now, and it's really cool because first it was like, hey, you need slacks and a polo or whatever, and then we all went to work at home, and then like probably a couple times a year we go to the office. But now it's like I have my tenure there, and when we go to office, I wear sneakers and pants and shirt like we're talking now, and
right.
But I think it's because it's like, hey, as long as the productivity is there, you're not giving us any problems, we're not going to bother you. And they, again, supportive of what I do here. So they're always asking about the podcast and things I've done. So, I think it's kind of that same idea of the higher-ups. Like, all right, cool, this person's doing a good job. We're not going to nitpick something that can be clearly a bigger problem.
Right. Yeah. And so, like, I mean, it's there. And I've gotten plenty of people. It's like, oh, you're a teacher, you should dress professional. Like, you're giving teachers a bad rap for the way you dress. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, come in my classroom, and you'll see what I'm able to do with my kids. So,
yeah, man. So, what do you teach now? Is it a technology class?
Yeah, so I teach kind of a variety of things. So I still teach a shop class. It's for ninth graders. We cover like manufacturing principles and stuff like that. So we have a shop, but it's more like, not like build furniture kind of thing. It's teach kids about like, what lamination is, or like composite material versus like wood material versus metal. So we do projects with all these different kinds of materials and try to do like hands-on projects to get them ready for their state test. So they have like an experience that ties into like a principle that they're supposed to remember for the test. So that one's pretty fun. And then I teach a class called College and Career Awareness for 8th graders. It just exposes them to different like job opportunities in the technological world. We cover a bunch of different things. So that one's pretty cool. But my favorite one is my digital media class. So it's where we teach kids how to use Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Lightroom, Adobe Premiere, and just teach them how to create things digitally, which, I love to do that. So just being able to teach these kids these tools that I remember in middle school, we had nothing like that. These are 7th, 8th graders learning how to be proficient at these, high level creative software tools. And it's really cool to see what these kids can create once they get their, their footing in the door a little bit with that software. So it's pretty fun. That's
awesome because it's one of those things that you look back is like, oh, I learned how to use Microsoft Word. Great. I could have learned. A trained monkey could have taught me that and at home. I didn't need a class for that. I learned Excel course. And no one ever fully learns how to use Excel because they change it every 2 weeks, I feel like. But
I don't think anyone ever knows how to use that pro. It's so vast and deep, man.
Have you seen there's a world championship of Excel, by the way?
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. I saw some video on YouTube the other day and I was like, how do you even figure this stuff out? People building crazy stuff in Excel.
VLOOKUPs, pivot table here. I'm I don't know what you just said to me. Just
over my head.
Over my head. But the thing is, what you're teaching is so practical, especially in this day and age, because you're really that class you're teaching, and also what you do with your contest of the design really enables people, students, kids, to find a niche, find their kind of footing early, which is cool because with us, we do we do our stuff at home. We do our creation, at home. We do it after work. Now these kids are 7th to 8th grade, 9th grade, able to go home after school, start on that path if that's what they want to do. And whether it be, hey, I want to just go straight into this world of content creation, or you know what, I just love digital creation. I want to get a job in graphic design. Let me start now. So that's really cool that happens because, like I said, when we're in school, it's all right, cool. You guys write this book. Here's a standardized test. Get to college and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm super fortunate to teach in the district that I do because in our district, they have a contract with Adobe. So these kids get access to all of Adobe's Creative Suite all the way from K through 12. So while they're in high school or in the system, public school system, they can just go at it. And I tell them that, I'm like, guys, if you like this is something you enjoy, go home. If your parents have a Mac or a PC, get this on your PC and you can just have fun, just have at it and get good at it. Because the more you do this, who knows where your creativity is going to take you? You'll be able to do some really cool stuff.
Man, look, I'm going to shave and I'm going to be a student for a couple of years so I get some free Adobe.
Come on through, bro.
No, that's super cool. And so what gave you the idea of the sneaker design contest?
So for that one, I started that, what year was that? I want to say 3 years ago. Okay. I started it in my digital media class just as a way of kind of testing things out. Yeah. At the time, it was just you design your sneaker design, and if it's cool, that's great. Here's your design. You just make it, and it is what it is. Yeah. But then between that first year that I did it and where it's at now, I was able to meet my friend John, JSM 801, sneaker customizer here in Utah, does phenomenal work. And so I got to know him, and we're really good friends. And so I was like, hey man, I have this thing that I do with my students where they design a sneaker. What would you think if we worked together? I would buy the base shoe, you would provide your services for the winning design for the student to bring that to life. And he's like, oh yeah, he was totally on board with it. That's and so awesome. It's been super fun working with him to do that. And we want to try and figure out a way to expand it so that it's not just because I love that one kid gets their design picked and made, but I want to figure out a way to have to provide that experience for all of my kids, if not most of my kids, even if it was a workshop of sorts, right? Maybe where he would come in and teach my kids about customizing sneakers. This is how you prep your sneakers, this is how you can paint it, and this is how you can stitch stuff on, that kind of stuff, just to give them the tools. So kind of more they get the experience of having their own custom sneaker, but then they also get the tools and the understanding of how to carry that on even further after the classroom experience, you know. So we're talking, we're trying to figure something out. So we'll see what comes of that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So after, as you said, you've been doing it for about 3 years now, and then we got a couple of winners who have their shoes made at this point. Do these kids like come back wearing these shoes to school just like the proudest like kid ever?
Yeah. So it was funny. The first kid that we did it with, Charlie, he designed like kind of an off-white looking Jordan 3 with the check, the Nike check on the side. And base shoe that we chose for that was the muslin 3s. And he was like over the moon. He didn't want to wear them. And then like he came back and he was wearing them, like, Charlie, like you're wearing your shoes. I love it. And so it's been cool to like keep that connection a little bit with him. But the funny part of that first one that we did, after we made a big old deal out of it, put it all over social media.
Yeah.
We started seeing like a bunch of these like rep factories in China. Like you'd see his shoe pop up. And like, because like anybody who's on like social media and sneakers, you always get the random DM from like, oh, I'm a Chinese supplier and blah blah blah. It's like, go away.
Cheap shoes designer.
Yeah, exactly. So I had one, and it was like in the picture of it, like within like their little picture, like I saw that shoe. I'm like, what? And there's no way. So I click on it, and they have his freaking shoe right there. I was like, you're ripping off my student. Come on now, like you can't be doing that.
That's hilarious. You should come like, hey, you know what? I built that shoe, so calm down.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. So I've heard that some of the rep factories, they'll see like the mock-ups, and you know how people will like watermark the mock-ups with their whatever their website or social media platforms watermark. They will build it with that watermark on it. It's like
with the watermark. Yeah, like you see like Sneakerhead Z's like little watermark, and then you have some of these reps like Z's little motif there. It's like, oh, that's hilarious.
It's like, guys,
Relentless,
do a little bit better
man.
work. Do better.
I know. Oh man,
that's such a cool concept though. Like I say, it gets kids excited, and as you start to grow it more, I'm sure it's just going to build up even more excitement. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised you start teaching a customizing class one day. At this point,
no, that would be dope to teach. I mean, I in education, it's just all about like I want to give kids an experience, but I want to give them something that they can take with them and build on down the road after they've left my classroom. So whether that be like, maybe I didn't win the Mr. Dutton sneaker design contest, but maybe they'll use that as motivation to like design their own thing or like learn more about sneaker customization or just sneakers in general, or even not even sneakers if it takes them down a path. Like I just want to be able to provide them with experiences that will like motivate them to want to do more creatively. So that's the goal. Whether it happens, like, I don't know, we'll see, but it's fun to, it's fun to work with these kids and see even where they're at this age, and even have like some former kids come back that have been like, oh, like I'm doing this now, like in video, or I'm doing this now in photography, and I'm doing this now in graphics. It's like, it's cool to see like where it started when they were these little tiny 7th graders to where they're at as these adults, like doing cool creative stuff. So it's really rewarding.
Yeah. And like, everyone has that one teacher you remember, and like definitely, again, whether it's just the experience or being able to have a conversation with you about sneakers, I'm sure you have like you said, a ton of kids that'll come back and just remember Mr. Dutton was like, he met me at my level, basically. It's like he was normal.
Yeah.
No, that's so cool, man. So as we talk about school, you have all that going on. I mean, I know the feeling, coming home, got a family, but you still get this other thing done, there's this passion project. How have you been, like, you've been so, I guess the best word would be successful at what you do, which is amazing. I've seen like all the work you do. Heck, the first time I saw the sneak peek of the De'Aaron Fox sneaker was your photo, right?
Yeah.
Your photo was a t-shirt, right? Like,
that was so cool.
Yeah, like that is amazing. Like, how did you, I guess, find yourself in the situation? Was it, hey, I'm reaching out to people actively to try to get work done with them, or is it more of like people coming to you to say, hey, we've seen what you've done, can you help us?
Right. Yeah. No, it's been a little bit of both. So like when I started doing all the content stuff and photos, it was all just for fun, just for me, like documenting like the sneakers that I have in my collection, just sharing what I like about them and sharing that with other people. And that's still like why I do what I do. Like I just enjoy telling the story of a sneaker instead of verbally, like through a video or something. I just like telling the story through pictures, visually. And so it's been really fun to try to like hone my skills into, get everything looking how I want and to present it how I want. And in the beginning, I didn't really want to like have an aspiration or desire to work with any brands or anything like that. But as things started getting more successful, I was like, some brands started reaching out, and I was like, man, maybe like if I keep doing this, like I could work with some brands, which would be pretty cool. And so it was, I want to say it was last year sometime, Mikkel Jackson from Under Armour, he reached out to me and was like, hey man, we love what you're doing. We see your work on Instagram, and we'd love to, do some stuff with you. And so I've been working with them, every now and then doing some projects like that. And then they hit me up, with Curry Brand to do De'Aaron's shoe. And I was like, yeah, like that would be so sick to see that. So like, that was really cool to be able to like see the shoe, but it was hard because like I take the pictures of like, I want to share these with people. I want to show you guys the shoe. And it's like, no, you can't do that.
Don't you do it.
Yeah. So, but it was cool to see the rollout and see some of like the, the detailed shots be leaked out and like the box. Yeah. And then it's a really cool shoe. Really dope. I love that they, it looks very much like a Curry shoe, but it also has like De'Aaron's personality infused in it so well. With some of the details, that strap, like it's a dope strap? Shoe. Yeah.
I thought so. Okay, dope. I was like, it looks like a foxtail, but I didn't want to just make that assumption.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And then the logo, they knocked that one out the park with the like his jersey number with the box and I was like, oh man, like you checked all the boxes on that logo. Well done.
Best logo in recent history, because everything else was just interlocking initials, and I was like, this one is fantastic. Probably the best logo I've seen since Derrick Rose's like D in the road around it. Oh,
so good. Yep. Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
They did a fantastic job there. And then you also did the photos for the podium pack for the Curry 12? Is it 12 now?
Yeah, I hit the Olympic, the 12th, the podium pack for those. So they sent those ones too, and was able to do those. And
nice, man.
And like they're a good shoe, man. Like and they look so good. They're so light, and those ones were a fun one to shoot because like, Olympic colors. Like I was able to play around with like some really like vibrant reds to make the shoe pop a little bit. So those ones were really fun to work on.
Yeah, man. I love it because some people you talk to in similar situations are just like, oh yeah, I did this, I work with the brand. Like you still have like a genuine excitement about the shoe.
Yeah.
That I love talking because I feel the same way about things. Like, oh great, yeah. Like the J-Tip stuff, for example, like Saucony was nice enough to send me a pair. I'm going to lose my mind like a child on Christmas when I open a shoe up because it's still fun for me. Like no matter if it is something that is like borderline, like it's creeping into business as opposed like not just a passion project anymore, I will always love just examining, breaking down, putting on a new shoe, and like I see that has not changed in you either, and that is amazing.
Yeah, it's so fun. Like it's just like I don't know. I still get giddy because it's just like there's like people have trusted me enough to be able to like take photos of their product and share that with other people, and that's so cool to me that someone would trust me that much. And so like I've done some work with Under Armour, and then I do photography work for a boutique, Nova, and so they carry a lot of Asics and Sauconys and New Balances, and so like taking a lot of photos of their stuff, and that really like helped open my eyes a little bit more to like what Asics and Saucony were doing, and like Rami, the guy that I work with over at Nova, like I'm like, bro, these are such fire shoes. Like, thank you for sending these to take pictures. Like, I love these. When are these coming out again? Like,
it's like, hey, I need to buy these. I need a couple pairs. Like, see, that's cool. It's like I love like being in this kind of sneaker space. Gives me an excuse to try a bunch of different stuff out. Like Mizuno, I knew Mizuno from like baseball, softball, sporting equipment, and I met like one of the PR guys on a lifestyle. And he was over in he's in Europe, and so I was like, wait, what? They do lifestyle shoes? He sent me like a bunch of like stuff on like photos and stuff, like led me to like their Instagram page and stuff. I'm like, holy crap, how have I never seen this before? And I just got a pair of the it's the Shishiko, one of the Shishiko pack, the Wave Rider 10.
Ooh, okay.
I bought that pair. Was literally tracking down a UPS guy. I'm like, hurry up, I need to see this pair in hand. If you haven't seen that shoe, beautiful. I think I want to dye it in indigo like they did like some of the ones in the Japan release.
Ooh, okay.
It is just a a beautiful shoe. Like you said, you just get excited because I hadn't seen it before. I'm like, this is new.
Right.
This is great.
Yeah, no, I've seen some stuff. I can't remember where I've seen some stuff from Mizuno before, and then I bought a pair. I can't remember what it was called. It was a Wave Rider model. I don't know if it was the 10s or something like that, but it was like a lavender, like suede. Anyway,
Was it
I can't remember.
almost like a New Balance, like 990 looking one?
Kinda, yeah. It had that kind of look to it, but I'd have to.
Be.
I don't know where I have it back here, but I'd have to pull it out
I
and
think
look
it's a
at it.
Wave
But
Rider Beta. I think if it's the one I'm thinking of in my head.
yeah,
cool looking shoes. Like, man, why are we not talking about these more?
right, and that's the interesting thing that we see. Like, I don't know, like social media can kind of be good and bad for like the sneaker game, because like in the social media world, like people want to produce content that gets like views and likes and shares and like all those metrics so that they can grow and like, you know, do all those things. And what gets all the views, the likes and all that and the metrics, it's all the like super hype stuff, you know? Mm-hmm. And so, which is cool. Like, but I think we kind of, at least where we're at now, I feel like we've reached like almost like the pinnacle of like that hype culture a little bit. Yeah. To where it's like, okay, we've seen all the Travis Scotts, we've seen all these like collaborations with Jordan and Nike and all this stuff. It's like, we want to see something else. And so I feel like we're at that place now. Like we were talking earlier with J Tips and like Joe Freshgood and New Balance and what Ronnie's been doing with Asics and even just Asics in general. They've been branching out and doing some dope collabs as well. It's refreshing to see other creatives take on footwear and being able to tell their story through a model that not a lot of people recognize. And it's really cool to see that stuff.
Oh, I 100% agree, because I mean, we got to a point at every time you look up, it's like, oh, there's a Jordan 1 or there's a Jordan 4. Now, do I love both those shoes? 100% I do. Am I happy to see something else? Yes, I am so happy to see something else, because it just got boring. Like, walk around, like, see people, like, it was this past December. I'd never been to SneakerCon before, and it came to Houston, so my wife had surprised me with tickets and like, hey, we're going to go. I know you've been wanting to go, just never got a chance to, so we went. And I just saw the same shoe. I can't remember what sneaker came out. I don't know if it was, I think it might have been SB4s or something, but it was something everyone had on. I was like, can we do something different? Like, everyone had on. A dude that stuck out to me that I want to go talk to, he was where I can't remember who I was telling this to. I think it was, I was talking to somebody about this, but he had on the T-Mac 2 All-Stars mismatch. I'm like, I'm going to talk to this guy.
Yes, like, bro. Yes. It's like, oh, these ones take it way back. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I remember this. This is like, but I just remember, like, it's cool. I know everyone, like, they like to match and, like, or not be, like, in the in crowd or whatever you want to call it and be like, oh, I have the same shoe as this person. But I remember, like, even to this day, I'm like, I'm going to buy something that I do not see in the street, where if someone doesn't say anything to me, they at least kind of take a second look and, like, okay, like,
yeah.
I love that, because it's a conversation starter. Like, I'm not the most outspoken person to go just walk up to you in the street and talk to you, but I can talk about shoes all day.
Facts, yeah. No, it's funny because I went to my first sneaker con in, when was it? July, out in LA. And so that was my first experience with that too. And like, it was cool because you see like some of the hype stuff, but I also saw like a bunch of people wearing some New Balances. I saw some people wearing some Asics. Saw one person wearing like AE1s, and I was like, huh, this is interesting. Dope. And then even like some of the tables, like you'd see some people, like I saw, it was the Kayano 12.1s that had just recently come out at Kith. Like someone had a pair for sale. I was like, whoa, like that's not what I was expecting. And then like I saw some Joe Freshgood New Balances getting for sale, and I saw some Asics and stuff, and I was like, huh. Like even the variety has made it into like the resale game just a little bit too, which was kind of cool to just see that. And like you said, just see the break from like, oh, Travis Scott, like all these people wearing the same shoe. And maybe it's because we're all getting older and like those Jordan 1s just aren't as comfortable as they used to be. So,
But it's like, you know what? It's one of those things. Is like, I like that these brands are just, they're getting more head-to-head now. It's just not like, I mean, Nike's still the big dog in the room. We can never deny that.
For sure.
But people are nibbling at those heels. They're like, hey, we're going to take a little bit of this market share. So they're these fights. There's this cool stuff coming out, because as we get I know all these things are produced at least 6 months in advance. They all have to slate it out. But it's funny how we get the Michael Chang court victory, but then we got the the Air Tech Challenge 2 right on his heel. And so they're going back and forth. And now there's a New York version of the victory pump coming out. So it's like, cool, y'all fight that out. Let's bring out all these cool tennis stocks. I'm a big tennis guy. So I'm just, much as I can, that makes sense. I'm trying to covet all those bad boys in my collection. But again, the runners, whether it be Asics, whether it be the Vomero 5, the Omni 9, I think that one may be that one in a Pro Grade Triumph 4 may be my two favorites of the grouping. But
they're so good.
So good. But they all have their place, and it's like, I was looking at my collection, I was like, I love my basketball shoes. I will always be a performance basketball collector, but I'm like, these runners are literally taking over because it's easy for me to throw on when I'm dealing with the kids or me and my wife trying to get the kids out the house. I don't have to think about it. It's like, boom, boom, let's move.
Throw them on, comfortable, good to go. And yeah, man. And then I've seen too, like with a lot of these, like manufacturing and quality is just on point too.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, you'll get your glue marks and stuff like that, but you don't see as many like quality control flaws as you might see like on a pair of Jordan 1s. It's like, oh, my Wings logo was stamped off with the ink and like all this stuff. And it's just like, maybe, I don't know. There's a lot that can contribute to that, but yeah, it's refreshing to see these runners, these, what are they calling them now? Like, early 2000 like runner style shoes coming back and doing their thing. And like, I haven't always been that way. I'm like you. I've always loved like performance basketball shoes. And cause that's where I grew up loving sneakers was with basketball.
Same.
And I still I love my J's, love my Nikes. And, I have a couple pair of T-Max that I really love and like some old Answer 4s that I really love, like all of that stuff. But like, it's for me, like I've always been like super eclectic in my interests. Same. And so it's fun to be able to do that with my sneaker interests as well. So it's not just purely basketball shoes. Like I'm getting into these Sauconys and these Asics and these New Balances, and they're like starting to take over some stuff. And it's just like, this is cool. Cause like I can grab my Dunks, I can grab my basketball shoes, I can grab my runners. Like I can grab any of these things that I've wanted. And it's fun. Oh
yeah. And I started doing something, You do it actually with your photos. You do you put it in weekly rotation. I always love how you did that. I was like, you know what? My photo skills aren't quite there. I should probably still practice more. But I was like, you know what? I like to just kind of cleanse the palette, which is the feed. So I started doing 5 shoes in my rotation last week. So I'll go keep account of what I've done. What I've wore over the past week, and then Monday or Tuesday, like I put one out today, and just go through. And it's like, some people are like, "Holy crap, that's a great rotation. It's like very different, very good mixture." I had one person like, "Oh, that's whack," and it wasn't a bunch of J's. I'm like, "Hey, however you feel, sir, that's okay." But I just like it because I try to put out things that people aren't seeing often. For lack of a better, that's who I am. As like say eclectic. I like to have different things. You're not just gonna see a bunch of the same thing. I don't know if you want to call it ADD, but I'm like, ooh, that one's cool. That one's cool too. I want to try this one. Like, I got a pair of T-Max 1s floating right over there. It's the when they came back out, I wish I would have got the whole collection. And I think they're pretty dirt cheap right now. I might finish it, but the St. Vincent, St. Mary LeBron PEs.
Oh, so good. Oh my gosh.
Yes. I got the 1s, the T-Mac 1s. I wish I would have bought the 2s, and then there's the what was the Pro model they had to come out. Yeah. So, but it's such a nice shoe. No one talks about it. It's like that is something LeBron wore. They have his number
when
stitched
he was
in
playing.
it.
Yeah,
everything.
It's like, and it's like I love that Adidas is dug back for those things because when was it? A couple weeks ago I got the T-Mac 2s, the white with the blue stripes, coming across the toe, and like I got those. I was like, oh, this hits. But the only thing that I was like mildly disappointed about is because I remember, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but when they first released, I feel like the blue on it was more like glossy, like it had more of a shine to it. And then the ones that they retro to re-release is more of like a matte finish blue, like the plastic pieces that like come across it. So not the full like rubber cap, but just the lines
the stripes
that come across.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I remember more shiny. I didn't have those, but I remember tons of people did when I was a kid that had that shoe. Yeah, I think you might be right. I haven't seen the retro, but that doesn't surprise me. I mean, there's so many changes that happen in this,
Right.
process. I really wish they would have done the resto mod treatment, which they were doing, which is their Protro, because that T-Mac 1, I'm like, how did he play basketball in this shoe? It's so fun.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so bad. And then but then I look at it and I hold it. I'm like, I know the shoe is awful, but it's also beautiful.
Also beautiful. It gets me every time. Like, I'll buy the most uncomfortable shoe because it just looks beautiful. Like the what was it? The Air Trainer 3. I can't wear Air Trainer 3s. That cage on the right of the pinky toe it kills me. But back in 2020, I bought the Violotech pair. I'm like, this is a beautiful shoe. Like, what am I supposed
good.
to?
I gotta have them.
I can't wear it, but god dang it, I like looking at it. I wore it like twice. I'm like, I can't do anything with this shoe. I'm actually going to trade it with my buddy for a pair of Dunks that he has. I'm trying to build up my SB collection again. I'm like, I'm trying to be better about owning shoes with a purpose now. And I'm like, if I can't do anything with it, I can't do anything with it. Let me give it to somebody who will, and gladly trade. I really trade and sell because I feel almost like I've sold shoes before. It's not a thing. Like if I'm done with them, but I should sell them at low prices. But it just, I don't know, kind of just like this is silly. I've worn them. They don't have a real value anymore unless it's something like crazy expensive. But I don't typically keep things like that, or I wear them, and people are like, "Why are you wearing that?"
Yeah, no, I totally get that, and I'm like. I think there's this school year I'm doing I'm undesing a pair every Friday. And so, but this week I was like, you know what, I'll undes 3 pairs because I just want to. So my goal is to by the end, have very few pairs that are just never worn. It's just man, some of these shoes, you always see the videos or the pictures of crumbled stuff. It's they got a short time span. It's if it's there and it looks beautiful, it ain't going to look beautiful for long. Might as well get some wears out of it.
That's my biggest fear. I have a pair of, I wore them, but they're it was the 2011 Black Cements. I wore them because in college I worked at Champs. I got them for a discount. I'm like, cool. Got them right before I graduated. I actually wore them through graduation, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But about a year ago, they just separated. They're floppy around. I'm like,
no.
I was like, you know what? I just can't. I'm going to wear them. I felt good, though. I didn't feel terrible because I wore them so much for the past, at that point, 12 years. I'm like, I got the value for them. I just sit them there. They're like a planter now. I just put a plant in it and they sit on my shelf. But it's really, you're right. You cannot just let them sit. So I make a point. I am a small child. When I was a kid, and when my parents would buy me new shoes at the store, I would put them on in the store and walk out. I'm just saying, I still do that today if I go buy something from the store, if I want to wear it. And it's something as weird to me to have something DS because I'm like, I spent money on this. In most cases, I spent money on it, and am I wasting it at this point? Just letting it rot in this box?
Yeah. No, I get that, and it's for me, it's been fun to do this unds things because I'll go through I have some stuff on shelves, and then I have a bunch of stuff in boxes as well. Yeah. And most of the stuff that's in the boxes is the stuff that's still DS, and when it's in a box, it's out of sight, out of mind. Sometimes I forget I even have the pair. So, now I'm going through and organizing things. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that I bought these. And then I was like, okay, I got to wear these this week. So it's copping them all over again. It's I bought them, and then some other stuff came in, or I got distracted by something else, and then they're just sitting in the box. And then go back to it. It's oh yeah, those are there. I'm glad I still have these. I can wear these now.
All the time. I was I'm trying to get rid of all these boxes. So my goal is to your shelf back there. I want to do the same thing on my wall and just get rid of the boxes so I can visibly see everything. Yeah. I have 2 closets over here. Again, out of sight, out of mind. I literally was cleaning up. I found a pair of Reebok Questions with the tag still on them. I'm like, where did these come from? I don't remember even getting these. I'm like, did I even do a review on them? Never even did a review on them. I was like, wow. All right, well, I was like, I'm pretty good about wearing stuff, but then again, some things just fall through the cracks. If the boxes start piling up, I get a little bit, disrupted in my thought process. I try to list them out. I try to make a list of okay, do this, do that, and sometimes I just, in the craziness of everyday life, they get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's cool though, man. I just like having this, being able to see different things. But whenever, we talk about the differences in shoes and how our love came from performance basketball. Now we're kind of shifting to this almost comfortable, our dad shoe phase. What are you seeing at school? Because you're around the people
Yeah.
who the brands are trying to touch right now? Is it you still seeing Jordans, or is it shifting? Because my kid's school, I went and all I saw was Crocs and slides. I'm like, well, where are the sneakers? What are y'all doing?
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can see the kids wearing Crocs and slides with their pajama pants, and you're just like, what are you doing? But like, it's pretty diverse now, and this is my 12th year teaching in middle school, so you see like all the waves of it, right? Like I remember when like Yeezy 350s were the thing, right? And then like everyone was trying to get Yeezy 350s, and then some kids would show up at school in like really bad fake Yeezy 350s. You don't want to say anything to them because you don't want to crush their confidence, but you're just like, ooh, bro. And so like that phase, and then that transition into like Jordan 1s were really big for a few years, and then Jordan 4s started going around. And then I saw a lot of 550s a few years ago, New Balance 550s.
Yep.
And then last year it was Sambas. Sambas were like the thing. Everybody had a pair of Sambas. And this year you still kind of see the Samba phase a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're also seeing a lot of like just GR dunks, like just the, solid colorway dunks everywhere. But it's really, this year I haven't really been able to put like my finger on like the trendy sneaker. In years past I've been able to, but this year there's just like, you don't see it as much. Like you see some Sambas, you see some Jordan 1s, you see some Jordan 4s, you see some kid wearing some SBs. Like it's pretty diverse right now. But what's been cool is like I wear a lot of like when I wear like the Asics or the Sauconys or the New Balances, like the running style shoes to work. There's kids that are like, oh, what are those? Like not in a bad way. What are those? Like they're like, oh, what are those? Those look pretty good.
Yeah, it's like it's interesting.
And so. Yeah, and so it's like, oh, you guys are interested in these? Let's talk a little bit. So being able to like tell them about different like New Balance models or Saucony models, some different collaborators that these companies have been working with. So, and kids are like, oh, that's pretty dope. And then like maybe I'll like show them on like StockX or something like, hey, yeah, see, these ones are pretty affordable. So if your mom and dad want to get you a new pair of shoes, like maybe look at something like this. They're comfortable. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
it's fun to see like. Because we see it in the sneaker community as a whole, like the diversity that's there right now with these brands. And then I feel like where sneaker culture's at, it kind of like gradually trickles down to like my students. And so it's trickled down all the way to my students to where they're opening up a little bit to some of these other different types of sneakers.
Yeah, no, and you know what is crazy? Like you said that, I was like, you said all those different trends. Like, I remember that. Oh, yeah, remember when that took over the world But I thought about the parents, like, buying school shoes, probably out kids. The best thing that could have happened for trend, for their pockets was probably Sambas, and then Dunks going out of the hype train, because now they're super affordable, super available, and mostly on sale. So it's like, like, thank you. That's such an easy shoe for them to get. So as a parent, they're like, yes, let's keep doing this.
Exactly. No, it was cool. The other day I noticed one of my 7th graders this year, he comes in and he's got a pair of AE1s on. The not the Velocity blue, but the other blue colorway that has like the black sock upper. It's almost, I think it was like the second one.
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Anyway, I saw him wearing those. I was like, yo, like AE1s, like that's dope, man. Like, and he's like, yeah, just really like the way they look. Like, they're pretty cool. It's like, yeah, there you go, kid.
Just shake my hand, kid. Like, I appreciate that. I love that. I mean, I feel like I feel like originality is coming back in like the younger generation. They're trying to figure out their place, and like they don't want to. They're like, this, like I said, this Jordan 1, everyone has it. They're trying to find their footing. So I think it's cool. I think hopefully we'll start seeing like more as they get older and start going to these like shows and becoming, given the ability to use social media. I think it'd be cool to see some like new things instead of just run in the mill. Because even now, it's like, I love the ASIC stuff, but sometimes I'm like, if I see one more gel Cayano, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Man. Yeah, those are hot right now. Those and 1130s. Like I've seen. Not my students. My students aren't quite there yet. I'm sure they'll get there, but like I see it everywhere. Across social media, all the videos people are posting. Like, yeah, those are taking over, man.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, mind you, I would easily buy a pair. Just one of those like, I probably don't need to throw that one up. Or, my picture reels or my things like that. It's like there's enough of them out there. I just wear this one for me. I mean, only ones that really, well, not say only, ones that got me excited were the Kith and Marvel collection, the Villains pack.
Yeah. He did those. Ronnie did those so well. My gosh, like I was hoping, like, I'm not one of those crazy spenders on Kith to get like their
Same.
tiered thing to get early access. So I was like, okay, we'll just see if I can hit in the raffle. Entered for all of them, took an L, and then my late night eBaying got the best of me, and I put a bid on the Spider-Man Venom pack.
Oh,
and
that's the one, man.
yeah.
Did you get it?
It was with. I did, but it was without the comic book. I was like, do I want to see the comic book? Yes, I do, but it's like, is it worth the extra like $300-400? I was like, probably not. So let's just buy the shoes with the box. And so, yeah. So those are hopefully coming here in the next few weeks.
Did you get the drawer box with the two, or is it like separated?
Yeah, it's the drawer box with the two. It's just the seller, like, they still have the comic books. So yeah,
Fair enough.
I'm cool with that. I want the shoes, like, because those Venom ones were probably my favorite one from the pack. Those and the Silver Surfers, but yeah, the colors on those Venom ones, like, it just looks mean. Like, you got the all black with the the turquoise and teal colors going through. I was like, oh, those look so good.
If I ever get a chance to, I'm gonna pull the trigger on one of those, because that was just super well done. Even the shirts, man. I wanted one of the shirts. They sold out like that. I'm like, I quit. I can't take this failure. It was just really cool pack. I love seeing the cool things. I'm a big comic nerd as well, so they're just trying to doubly take my money at that point. So
Right.
like, dang it. But it's again, just that being able to take some fun things and have like a genuine like fun with the collaboration like that. I love that kind of stuff. Don't take itself too seriously.
Yeah, it and especially doing like the comic book thing with it, like that. What person doesn't love like those stories? I mean, thanks to like cinematic universe and all that stuff, like that's definitely helped. But like, I still remember as a kid, like watching like the old like X-Men cartoons and like the old Spider-Man cartoons and all that stuff, and like that was part of my childhood. So like you see that, and it's just like it hits you in those nostalgic feels, and you're just like, oh man, you got me.
It's whenever Across the Spider-Verse came out, me and my son went to go see it.
Yeah.
And I am still a child at heart. So
Yep.
I am dressed like head to toe in like Spider-Man stuff, and like they bought me for Father's Day with that year when it came out, the Across the Spider-Verse Jordan 1s. So
Yeah.
it's like, wearing the whole thing. I had like literally
Easy.
I'm like, are you 12? Maybe, but
Yes, I am. Okay.
it was like, you're not gonna stop me from doing this, world. And at zero shame, I'll do it again to this day. Like it, I love that. I mean, when Deadpool came, I wore like Deadpool shirt and stuff to go see it. I'm like, it's just fun. I think people forget the fun part of what we do here. Just like they take it too seriously. Like, yeah, if you're in it for money, cool, but don't forget to have fun with it, because
it's all fun, man. And then like those experiences, like it's Deadpool and Wolverine. Like I think I've seen that movie 3 times. Like loved it all the time. My wife and I saw it the first time, and then like I saw it. Did I see it with her twice? I don't remember if I saw it with her twice, but like I was like, that just hits me in like those childhood moments back when like X-Men was in their prime, like that was like middle school, high school for me when those original X-Men movies came out. I loved it. So like seeing Hugh Jackman back again, I was just like, oh, this completes it. Like I feel my life is complete. I got to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine one more time.
Oh, well, apparently, I'm going a whole side tangent on this, but apparently that word on the street is that they're not, this new wave of X movies are going to come out with, they're not casting Wolverine because apparently Hugh Jackman's like, I love this, I kind of want to come back. And so for the foreseeable future, until he's in a wheelchair, I guess he's going to be, until he's 90.
Like the reference of the movie. They're going to milk
he's 90. So I'm like, all right. And with all this stuff coming out, I mean, I am probably one of my favorite characters is Venom. Like,
yeah.
And I've not been so happy with the Venom movies, but what they're doing with this Last Dance apparently is, so again, rumor on the street is that it's supposed to tie in directly to the MCU now. That's why it's the last Venom.
Okay.
And again, this is all rumor and speculation, but they brought in this big bad that may be overarching into the next Spider-Man movie, who's that symbiote god, who about 2 years ago caused all sorts of mayhem in the comics. And I'm like, guys, look, I'm not going to be like, I'm going to be just in the movie theater for the next 5 years straight, just waiting for these to come out at this point.
Yep.
Like, don't do this
Dressed
to
up,
me.
you know.
Full garb. Like, what do you want from me? Like,
Yep.
I just changed shirts to
Exactly.
match the movie we're going to at this point.
Exactly. No, I remember when they were saying, like, when it was announced that Robert Downey Jr. would be Doctor Doom, and people were like, "Oh no, he can't do that. He can't do that." And it's like, they'll make it work, and
They'll
we
make
will
it
love
work.
it.
Yeah, exactly what I said. I was like, don't worry about it. I'm sure they have a plan, and the Russo brothers coming
Yeah.
back. It's gonna be all right.
It'll work.
Dude, I can sit here and literally talk comics all day. Now,
Facts.
before we finish, I know I'll let you go. I know you got some stuff you got going on, but I want to ask you, is this ever something you've done or ever crossed your mind? Because I think it would be fantastic pieces. Have you ever sold prints of your shots?
I have. I've tried to sell some through like my website, and it's done like here and there. Okay.
Yeah.
Something that I've wanted to do, and a lot of people have mentioned it for me, is doing like a photo like coffee book kind of thing. You know, like get like all my favorite photos, put them in a little, you know, like coffee book. Nothing like super thick, like, you know, like some of those like Sneaker Freaker books, but just like, you know, something that has like some of my favorite photos in it. So I'm looking at different like publishing avenues to try to figure out how to get that, you know, out there at a reasonable cost to the consumer, because some of the ones like I've seen that are like the one-off ones, it's like if I wanted one, it'd be like $80 for me to do one. It's like, wow, if I did $80 times like however many people wanted them, man, I'd have to charge a lot of money to like get my money back from like shipping and all this stuff. It's like, I don't want to do that. So I want to try and find someone that can do like a sizable amount for a reasonable price, and just try to do it right, because I would love to see that just for my own personal satisfaction, just to see like the pictures I've taken in physical form in a book. And so, and I know at least a few other people would really like it, because they're the ones who've mentioned it. And so, yeah, that's in the works. I don't know if it's going to happen this year. Hopefully early next year we'll cook something up with that.
Well, just put me down for a pre-order. I will gladly buy that.
Absolutely.
Would gladly purchase that to support, man, because that's something cool. It's always been like, I love the creativity, like the media, whether it be videos. I try to like dabble in everything. I've become like I'm good at a lot of things, but not great at one. So I want to
Jack of all trades. Yeah.
There you go, jack of all trades, master of none. That was the same. But I started with photography. Ended up going into video. I'm like, I just kind of, I don't want to say I abandoned photography. I just got so caught up in like the love for editing and creating these like I'm a sucker for visuals. So to find like the cleanest way to build something out. And I've just left photography. So I want to go back, and that's kind of one of my pipe dreams down the line, is to create like a little magazine or something, and just that's my, I don't want to say my swan song, but here's my contribution to the world of photography.
Right.
Good,
No, that'd be dope, man.
So I mean, that's why again I love your stuff, man. It reminds me just like I love beautiful visuals, and whether it be again a landscape or a sneaker, they can be intermingled with me, and I think you do such a fantastic job, Andy. Like I have no words. It's just amazing work, man.
Thank you. No, it's been really fun, and you know, I feel like everyone's different, and everyone's able to express themselves differently through whatever creative medium they choose. And you know, there's a lot of other people that do beautiful work in sneaker photography, and it's just fun to see like how all of us have kind of like, you know, you can recognize who's taken what photos just by looking at the photos, and it's really cool to see like the artistic and creative side of sneakers, because sneakers in and of themselves absolutely beautiful. I consider them, like many people do, wearable art. And then seeing what other people are able to do to take that wearable art and elevate it to a new level with like either photography or video or anything that they do. It's cool. It's all beautiful, and for the love of sneaker culture and for the sneaker game. And it's just, it's fun, man.
Definitely, man. Well, anything you got coming up you want to let the people know about? Anything special?
Let's see. I don't know. I don't really have anything coming up new or noteworthy yet. So I'm glad that I can finally talk about the D-Fox ones, like the Aaron Fox ones. So
it's like a weight off your chest now. You're like, finally, I can show you.
I know. That was a cool project to work on. And, you know, if anyone from Under Armour's listening or Curry Brand's listening, like, thank you so much for trusting me with that one and being able to work with me on that. That was super dope.
So legit, man. No, that's awesome. Well, I know you guys listening, if you haven't heard of Andy, you haven't heard of 80 Sneaks, you're living under a rock. So you can find him. It's 80 Sneaks everywhere, right? All platforms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not really active I tried TikTok for a while, but man, that place is so toxic. Like I had to get out of TikTok.
That was like me and Twitter.
So-
I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this Twitter thing.
Yeah, Twitter's. And see, I just started like posting more on Twitter, and it's like I don't scroll on Twitter. I can't because like it's just it's so bad. So yeah, mainly like Instagram Threads, and Twitter. So that's where you can find me at all those places.
Awesome. Well, Andy, man, I appreciate you coming on by. I know we're going to talk again in the short future. So
For sure.
And guys, of course, go follow Andy at AD Sneaks at all the places he just listed out. But also make sure that you're following Sneaker History as well. Make sure you leave comments for us. Make sure you leave comments for Andy to how much you loved this episode. And until next time, guys, see ya. Man, cool. Man, let's see. I think we're all...
Hey everyone, this is Nick again. Before you take off, do us a solid and head over to Apple Podcasts to leave us a review. Give us a rating on Spotify and Amazon Music, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we have even more video content coming soon. Speaking of new content, we have an amazing community of sneaker enthusiasts that hang out in our Sneaker History Discord on a daily basis. While sneakers is a connection point that brought us all together, we've all discovered countless shared passions that we have in common with each other. We recently launched a couple of new podcasts directly from our community. One of them is a Formula One podcast. If you're an F1 fan like me, the Exhaust Notes podcast is your weekly fix of Formula One fun. It's hosted by myself, Rohit Malhotra, and Todd Yates. New episodes drop every Tuesday. I've been wearing fitted hats for years and collecting my favorite teams since I was a little leaguer. It has been awesome to see so many new fans getting into fitteds in recent years. Crown and Stitch is our new talk show about fitted hats with Dexter, Keith, and myself, where we talk about fitted hats, snapbacks, throw in some obscure hats because we all kind of like some funky stuff once in a while, don't we? Copping, collecting, and so much more. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Hit the links in the show notes for this episode to give our new shows a listen, and be on the lookout for more new podcasts dropping soon. Last but not least, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Thank you all for the support, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.